You remember this little girl?
Will you be my mummy's Valentine?
Where is your mummy?
She is in the hospital.
Now this is her.
Daddy Val, thank you for coming to get us. I missed you.
I miss you too, my daughter.
The evening air was soft with the smell of roasted corn and passing rain as Amara and Zara walked side by side along the busy roadside, their shadows stretching long on the dusty pavement. Zara swung their joined hands gently, her small voice humming a tune she barely knew, her red ribbon bouncing in her hair. "Mommy," she said, looking up with wide, thoughtful eyes, "why do some people look sad even when the sun is shining?" Amara smiled faintly, brushing Zara's cheek with her thumb. "Because, my love, sunshine on the outside does not always mean sunshine in the heart." Zara frowned in deep concentration. "Then when I grow big, I will put sunshine inside people." Amara laughed softly. "How will you do that, my little doctor of hearts?" "I will help them," Zara replied simply. "Like when you help people at the clinic. Someone is hungry, I will give them my biscuit. Someone is crying, I will sit with them. It will make their heart warm." Amara's eyes shimmered. "You have a good heart, Zara. Kindness is a seed. When you plant it, it grows into something beautiful." Zara nodded seriously. "Then we should plant many seeds, Mommy, even when we don't have much." They slowed near a roadside kiosk, the hum of evening traffic wrapping around them. A bus honked impatiently. A hawker called out prices, and laughter drifted from a nearby bar. For a moment, the world felt ordinary, gentle. Then the sound came. A sharp screech of tires tore through the air. "Ah!" someone screamed. A body flew forward, hit the ground with a dull, terrible sound, and the street erupted into chaos. "Jesus, Jesus." A woman cried, "Who was that, driver? Are you mad?" Amara gasped, pulling Zara back against her chest. "Zara, close your eyes," she whispered urgently, her heart slamming in her ribs. But Zara had already seen. The old woman lay on the road, her wrapper twisted, her head bleeding, her small handbag spilled beside her. "Mommy," Zara whispered, her voice trembling, "that Grandma is not moving." People gathered in a loose circle, murmuring in fear. Some covered their mouths, others stepped back. "Ah! Accidents everywhere," a man muttered. "Don't touch her." "Oh, you don't know if she will die in your hands," another warned. A woman shook her head. "God forbid. Let the driver handle it." The driver stood frozen, pale, stammering apologies, too afraid to move closer. Zara tightened her grip on Amara's hand. "Mommy, why are they not helping her?" Amara swallowed, her eyes fixed on the old woman's still form. "Sometimes people are afraid, my love." "But Mommy," Zara whispered, her small voice breaking, "if everyone is afraid, who will help her?" Zara's small fingers tightened around her mother's hand, her eyes fixed on the old woman lying helpless on the road. Her lips trembled, and when she spoke, her voice was barely above a whisper, yet it cut through the noise of the crowd. "Mommy, please. If we don't help her, she will die." Amara's chest rose sharply. She looked around at the faces watching, the fear, the hesitation, the way everyone waited for someone else to move first. Her heart pounded. "Zara, it's dangerous," she murmured, torn between caution and compassion. Zara shook her head, tears spilling freely now. "Mommy, you taught me to help people. Please, I don't want her to die on the road." Those words broke through Amara's fear. She drew a deep breath, lifted her chin, and stepped forward. "Madam," she called to the old woman kneeling beside her. "Can you hear me? Please, open your eyes." The old woman groaned faintly, her eyelids fluttering. "She's alive," Amara said urgently, turning to the stunned onlookers. "Help me, please. We can't leave her here." Some people shook their heads. Others looked away. Amara stood and waved frantically at the passing cars. "Please stop. Anyone. We need to take her to the hospital." Taxi slowed, then another. Finally, a battered car pulled over. "Madame, quickly, let's carry her," the driver said, jumping out. Together, they lifted the old woman gently into the back seat. Zara climbed in beside her without hesitation, clutching the woman's cold hand in her small, warm palms. "It's okay, Grandma," Zara whispered, her voice shaking but determined. Please don't sleep. We are taking you to the hospital now. You will be fine, I promise you. God will help you. I will stay with you." The old woman's lips moved faintly, as if trying to speak. Amara leaned in. "Mama? Hold on. Just hold on a little more." The car sped through traffic, horns blaring, the city lights blurring past the windows. Zara kept talking, as if her words alone could keep the old woman awake. "My name is Zara," she said softly. "I have a mommy. She is kind. We'll meet her properly when you wake up." "Please wake up, Grandma." At the hospital entrance, nurses rushed out with a stretcher. "Emergency, move aside." They lifted the old woman from the car and wheeled her away quickly, their voices urgent, their steps fast. "Please save her," Amara said, her voice cracking. Zara ran a few steps after the stretcher, before a nurse gently stopped her. "We will take care of her." Zara nodded, wiping her tears with the back of her hand. "Please don't let her die," she whispered. The doors swung shut. The corridor swallowed the stretcher. Amara sank onto a bench, pulling Zara into her arms. For a long moment they said nothing. Their hearts were still racing, their bodies trembling from what they had just done. "Mommy," Zara murmured into her chest. "Did we do good?" Amara kissed the top of her head, her own eyes wet. "Yes, my love, we did good." They left the hospital quietly, their steps slow, their minds heavy with the image of the old woman's pale face, unaware that the life they had just touched would soon circle back into their own, in ways they could never have imagined. That same night, Kola sat alone in the quiet of his living room, the city lights blinking through the wide glass windows like distant stars. The television murmured in the background, but he wasn't listening. His mind was far away, drifting through memories he had tried to silence. Amara's tired smile, Zara's soft laughter, his mother's hard voice earlier that week, sharp with pride and fear. He picked up his phone, scrolled to Amara's name, then stopped. "I will call her tomorrow," he murmured to himself. "Let everyone calm down first." The phone rang suddenly, loud in the silence. Kola flinched, his heart skipping. "Hello? Is this Mr. Koladare?" a professional voice asked. "Yes, this is he. This is City Central Hospital. Your mother has been involved in a serious accident. She was brought in unconscious. She is currently in a coma." The words landed like stones on his chest. "What? What did you say?" Kola whispered, standing up so fast his chair scraped loudly against the floor. "My mother coma." "Yes, sir. She sustained head trauma. Her condition is critical. You need to come immediately." The phone slipped from his hand, clattering onto the table. For a moment he stood frozen, staring at nothing, his breath shallow. Then panic rushed in like a flood. "Mama," he breathed, grabbing his keys. "Hey, Mama, hold on." He ran out of the house, barely waiting for the gate to open fully before slipping into his car. The engine roared to life as he sped into the night, his thoughts a chaotic storm. Images of his mother's stern face flashed through his mind, followed by Amara's wounded eyes, the last argument that had ended in silence. "I should have fixed this," he muttered, gripping the steering wheel. "I should have made peace. God, please, don't let it be too late." At the hospital, fluorescent lights flooded his eyes as he rushed through the corridor. "Koladare," he said breathlessly to the nurse at the desk. "My mother. Where's my mother?" "This way, sir," she replied, guiding him quickly. He entered the ward and saw her. His strong, unyielding mother lay still on the bed, machines breathing for her, tubes tracing fragile lines across her face. For a second, he did not recognize her. She looked smaller, weaker, human. "Mama," Kola whispered, his voice cracking as he dropped to his knees beside the bed. He took her hand, cold and unresponsive, pressing it to his forehead. "Please, wake up. I'm here. Don't do this to me." Tears spilled freely now, sliding down his cheeks onto the white sheets. "I know I was angry. I know you were angry too. But I never meant for us to end like this. I should have protected Amara better, should have spoken to you with more patience. Please, Mama, open your eyes. Scold me if you want. Just don't leave me like this." A doctor stepped forward gently. "Mr. Dare, she suffered severe trauma to the head. We are doing everything we can. The next 24 hours are critical." "Will she wake up?" La asked hoarsely, his eyes never leaving his mother's face. "We are hopeful, but we cannot make promises," the doctor said softly. She was brought in by good Samaritans, who acted quickly. That helped, but her condition is still very serious. Kola nodded slowly, swallowing the lump in his throat. "Please, please save her," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. He remained there long after the doctor stepped away, holding his mother's hand. The weight of regret heavy on his heart, wishing he had chosen peace sooner, praying that the woman who had given him life would be given another chance to live and another chance to heal the family she had almost torn apart. The morning light crept softly into the room, resting on Zara's small face as she watched Kola sit by the window, silent, his shoulders heavy with a sadness she had never seen before.
Ow.
He had not smiled. He had not joked with her. Even when she said good morning, his voice came out tired, far away. "Daddy Val," Zara called gently, climbing onto the chair beside him. "Why are your eyes red like when people cry?" Kola turned to her, forcing a small smile. "It's nothing, my brave Rose. I just didn't sleep well." Zara studied him closely, her little brows folding together. "Did I do something bad?" No, Kola said quickly, pulling her into his arms. "You did nothing wrong." She rested her head on his chest for a moment, listening to his heartbeat. "Then why does your heart sound sad?" Kola's breath caught. He looked away. "My mother is very sick," he admitted quietly. Zara's eyes widened. "Grandma?" "Yes," he nodded. "She had an accident. She is in the hospital." Zara slipped from his arms and stood in front of him, her small hands clenched together as if in prayer. "Is she sleeping?" "She is." "She is not waking up yet," Kola said softly. Zara's face fell. She was quiet for a long moment. Then she lifted her eyes again, full of gentle hope. "Maybe if I go and hold her hand, she will wake up," she said earnestly. "When Mommy was sick, I held her hand and talked to her, and she got better. Maybe Grandma just needs someone to tell her to come back." Kola's eyes filled. He reached for Zara, pulling her close. "You have a big heart, Zara." Amara, who had been standing by the doorway listening, felt her chest tighten. The word Grandma echoed in her mind, stirring fear she had tried to bury. She remembered the cold words, the rejection, the way Kola's mother had looked at her like she did not belong. Her first instinct was to step back, to protect her heart by running again. "Amara," Kola said gently, noticing the conflict on her face. "You don't have to come if you're not ready." Amara shook her head slowly, her voice low. "Running has never healed anything in my life," she whispered. "I am afraid, yes. Afraid she will look at me with the same eyes. Afraid she will remind me that I am not enough. But if I keep running, this wound will never close." Zara looked up at her mother, her eyes shining with innocent courage. "Mommy, Grandma needs us. Even if she is angry, we can still love her small. Love is like medicine, remember?" Amara knelt and pulled Zara into her arms, her voice trembling. "You are braver than me, my child." She stood, taking a slow, steady breath. "I will come," she said, meeting Kola's eyes. "Not because I am strong, but because I want to heal. Whatever waits for me there, I will face it. For you, for Zara, for this family we are trying to build." The hospital corridors smelled of antiseptic and quiet prayers as they walked together, their footsteps soft against the polished floor. Zara held Kola's hand tightly with one hand and clutched her mother's fingers with the other, swinging gently between them as if trying to keep their hearts from drifting apart. Amara's chest felt tight, every step toward that ward-stirring old wound she had tried to forget. "Daddy Val," Zara whispered, glancing up. "What if Grandma is still sleeping?" Kola squeezed her hand, and we will speak to her gently. Sometimes people hear love, even when they cannot answer. They reached the door. Kola pushed it open slowly. His mother lay still on the bed, her face pale against the white pillows, machines humming softly around her. For a moment the room was quiet, except for the steady beep of the monitor. Zara took a small step forward. "Grandma," she said in her soft, hopeful voice, "it's me. I came to hold your hand." As if pulled by that tiny voice, the old woman's eyelids fluttered. Slowly, with effort, her eyes opened. She blinked against the light, confused. Then her gaze fell on Zara's small face. "You," she murmured weakly. the little girl. Zara's eyes widened with joy. Yes, I am Zara. You are awake, Grandma. The old woman's eyes shifted, struggling to focus. And then they landed on Amara. A sharp breath left her lips. Memory rushed back like a tide. It was you, she whispered, her voice trembling. You brought me to the hospital. Amara froze, her heart skipping. Yes, Mama, she said softly. We found you on the road. Could not leave you there. The room seemed to tilt as realization dawned. The old woman turned her gaze to Kola, recognition deepening into understanding. My son, she whispered, the women you spoke of, the ones you said were beneath your world. They saved my life. Kola's throat tightened. Mama, he said, his voice breaking, this is Amara, this is Zara. The truth settled heavily between them. Amara felt it like a hand on her chest. Fate, the strange, painful kindness of fate. The old woman's eyes filled with tears. God has shamed my pride, she said weakly. I pushed away the very hands that lifted me from the ground. She began to cry, soft, broken sobs, shaking her frail body. Forgive me, she whispered, reaching out with trembling fingers. My heart was blind. I judged with fear. I thought I was protecting my son, but I was only protecting my pride. Amara hesitated for a heartbeat, the memory of rejection flickering across her face. Then she stepped forward and placed her hand in the old woman's. We all make mistakes, she said quietly. What matters is what we choose now. The old woman pulled her closer, then reached for Zara too, gathering them into a fragile embrace. For the first time, she held them not as strangers, not as intruders, but as family. I am sorry, she sobbed. I am so sorry. Zara wrapped her small arms around her gently. It's okay, Grandma, she whispered. You can be kind now. Kola watched them, tears streaming down his face, the knot in his chest finally loosening. In that small hospital room, walls that had stood tall between hearts began to crumble, and a family, once broken by pride, took its first trembling steps toward healing. Recovery did not come like a miracle. It came slowly, in small breaths, in tired smiles, in careful steps along the hospital corridor. Each morning, Kola's mother learned how to sit up again, how to hold a cup without trembling, how to face the world she almost left behind. Zara became her tiny nurse, climbing onto the bed with permission from the nurses, fluffing her pillow with serious devotion. Grandma, you must eat your pap, Zara said one afternoon, lifting the spoon carefully. If you don't eat, you will be weak again. The old woman chuckled faintly. This small doctor, she teased, her eyes softening. Since when did you become the one to command elders? Since you fell down, Zara replied, nodding wisely. Mommy said we must take care of you. Amara watched from the doorway, her heart easing at the sight. The old woman beckoned her closer.
Amara,
she said quietly. Come and sit. Let us talk. Woman to woman, they sat in the soft afternoon light. For a moment, silence hovered, thick with old wounds. I was afraid, the old woman confessed, her voice low, not of you, but of losing my son. In my mind, wealth was protection, status was safety. I thought if he married into a certain world, he would never suffer. Amara nodded, eyes steady. I understood your fear, but fear can make us cruel. When you looked at me, I felt small, as if love was something I had no right to receive. The old woman's eyes glistened. I see that now. You carried your child with dignity. You endured rejection without turning bitter. That is strength I did not recognize. Kola's mother reached for Amara's hand. You are a good mother. Zara's heart is gentle because yours is gentle. Amara's voice trembled. All I wanted was peace for my child. I never wanted to take your son from you. I know, the old woman whispered, and I am sorry I tried to take him from you. Days turned into weeks. Laughter returned to the house in soft waves. Zara sat by her grandmother's feet in the evenings, telling her stories of school, of dreams where everyone held hands. The old woman listened, smiling, sometimes wiping away tears she did not explain. Grandma, Zara said one night, curling against her. Will you stay with us now? The old woman kissed her hair gently. If God allows me, I will stay and learn how to love better. Amara stood in the doorway and Kola came to her side. The house no longer felt divided into corners of pain and pride. It breathed again, slow and warm, like a place where broken hearts were finally learning how to belong to one another. Months later, the house had learned a new rhythm. Laughter lived in the walls. Healing had found its way into every corner. On a quiet afternoon, the gate bell rang, sharp and insistent, cutting through the calm like a blade. "I will get it," Amara said, adjusting the light scarf on her shoulders. Zara was drawing on the floor, humming softly. When the gate opened, the past stood there in flesh and bone. Her ex-husband, the man who had once walked away from her pain. His eyes swept over the compound with hungry surprise, then settled on Amara. He froze. "Amara?" he called, uncertain. She stepped forward slowly, composed, her posture straight, her gaze steady. Gone was the woman who used to shrink when he raised his voice. "You have grown fat with comfort," he scoffed, masking his shock. "So this is where you have been hiding." "I am not hiding," Amara replied calmly. "I am living." He laughed, harsh and short. "Living? Under another man's roof? I have come for my wife and my child. Enough of this wandering. Pack your things." Zara peeped from behind Amara's legs. "Mommy, who is that man?" The question landed like a slap. He flinched. "Tell the child who I am," he demanded. Amara lowered herself to Zara's height. "This is someone from our past," she said gently. Then she rose again, her voice firmer. "You lost the right to command me the day you walked away." His eyes narrowed as he took in her elegance, the quiet strength in her voice. "You think fine clothes and soft words make you strong?" "No," Amara said softly. "Healing made me strong." He stepped closer, trying to reclaim the space. "You are still my wife in the eyes of tradition. The child belongs to me. Come with me now." Amara did not move. Tradition does not excuse abandonment. Love is not claimed by force. For a moment, the man stood stunned, staring at the woman he no longer recognized. The power he once held over her had slipped through his fingers, and in its place stood a woman who had found her voice, her dignity, and her worth. The silence after his words was heavy, thick like harmattan air. Amara's hand drifted, almost unconsciously, to her belly. The memory she had buried rose to the surface, sharp and unkind. "I was pregnant when you left," she said, her voice steady, her eyes wet but unblinking. "I begged you to listen. I told you there was life growing inside me. You laughed. You said I was trying to trap you." The man's face twitched. "Don't lie to me," he snapped, though doubt had already crept into his voice. "I am not lying," Amara replied quietly. "I bled alone. I feared alone. I carried the shame alone. Zara grew inside me while you were chasing your freedom." Before he could answer, footsteps sounded behind them. Kola stepped forward, having heard enough. His presence filled the space, calm but unyielding. "Whatever you and Amara had in the past ended the day you abandoned her," Kola said. "You do not get to return and reopen wounds you caused." The ex-husband scoffed. "So you are the rich savior? The one buying loyalty with comfort?" Kola's jaw tightened. "I am the man who stood when you walked away. I will not let you frighten my family." Zara clutched Kola's jacket. "Uncle Val, please don't let him shout at Mommy." Kola knelt briefly, touching her cheek. "Nobody will shout at your mommy here." He rose, eyes steady on the man. "We'll leave this place now." The ex-husband took a step forward, testing the boundary. "Or what?" Kola did not raise his voice. "Or the gate will close behind you with men who ensure you never return. Choose peace." For a long moment, pride wrestled with reality on the man's face. Then he laughed, hollow and bitter. "You think this is over?" "It is over," Amara said, finding her voice again. "For me, it ended the day you chose not to stay." He turned away, anger burning in his eyes, and walked back toward the gate. The sound of it closing echoed like a final punctuation to a long, painful sentence. Amara exhaled, a breath she had been holding for years. Her shoulders relaxed. She did not cry. She simply stood there, lighter, as if a chain she had worn in silence had finally fallen away. That night, the villa was quiet in a way that felt sacred. The kind of quiet that comes after storms have emptied themselves of thunder. Zara had finally fallen asleep, her small chest rising and falling, one arm wrapped around her favorite pillow. Outside, the garden lights glowed softly, casting gentle shadows on the walls. Amara stood by the window, staring into the dark, her thoughts still tangled in the echo of the man who had returned to haunt her past. Kola approached slowly, as if afraid his presence might startle her back into fear. "He won't come back," he said, his voice low and steady. "Not here, not to you, not to Zara." Amara nodded, but her fingers trembled where they rested on the curtain. "I told myself I was strong," she whispered. "But when I saw him, I felt like that small woman again, the one who was always apologizing for existing." Kola stepped closer. "You are not that woman anymore. You are a survivor. You are a mother who fought for her child, and you are safe here, with me." She finally turned to him. Her eyes were wet, shining in the soft light. "Promise me," she said. "Promise me you won't leave when things become difficult." "I promise," Kola replied without hesitation. "I am not here to play the hero for a season. I am here to stay." Silence stretched between them, heavy with everything they had not yet said. Amara's voice broke. "All my life, I have been holding my breath, waiting for the next abandonment. Even with you, I kept a small part of my heart packed and ready to run." Kola reached out, hesitated, then took her hands. "You don't have to run anymore," he said gently. "If you fall, I will be here to catch you. If you are afraid, I will sit with you in the fear." Her shoulders shook as the tears finally came. "I'm tired of being afraid," she admitted. "I know," he murmured. "Come." He drew her into his arms. This time, she did not stiffen. She rested her head against his chest, listening to the steady rhythm of his heart, the sound grounding her back into the present. "I want a life that is real," Amara said softly. "Not one built only on rescue and gratitude." "So do I," Kola replied. "I don't want to just protect you. I want to walk with you. I want to choose you. Hush. Every day." She lifted her face, searching his. "Then don't see me as someone you saved. I see you as the woman I love," he said simply. The words hung between them, fragile and powerful. Amara's breath caught. "I love you too," she whispered, surprised at how true it felt when spoken aloud. He leaned in slowly, giving her time to pull away if fear returned. It didn't. Their lips met, gentle at first, a careful promise rather than a rush. The kiss deepened with warmth, not urgency, as if both were learning a new language made of trust. When they finally parted, Amara rested her forehead against his. "We are really doing this," she said, half laughing through tears. "Yes," Kola smiled. "We are building something real. A home. A family." From the hallway came the soft sound of Zara turning in her sleep. Amara glanced toward her daughter's room, then back at Kola. "For her," she said. "For us," he replied. Months later, the night arrived quietly, the way destiny often does, without warning, without drums. Amara had just settled into bed when a sharp breath caught in her chest. She pressed her palm to her belly, eyes widening. "Kola," she called softly at first, then louder as another wave rolled through her. "Kola, it's time." He was on his feet before the words fully left her mouth. "Time now. Are you sure?" She tried to smile through the pain. Unless babies have learned how to wait for morning. Within minutes, the house was alive with hurried footsteps and whispered prayers. Kola supported her as they moved, his voice steady even as his hands trembled. "Breathe, Amara. I'm here. I'm right here." At the hospital, bright lights swallowed the night. Nurses moved with calm urgency. "You're doing well, madam." "One more breath. You're strong," Amara cried out, gripping Kola's hand. "I'm scared," she whispered between contractions. "Don't be," he said, brushing her hair from her damp forehead. "You've carried him this far. He's coming to meet his family." Outside the delivery room, Zara paced in her small slippers, eyes wide with worry. "Grandma, is Mommy going to be okay?" Kola's mother took her hand, her voice softer than Zara had ever heard it. "She will be okay, my child. Your mommy is strong, stronger than she knows." Then, through the closed door, a cry pierced the air, a thin, powerful sound. Life announcing itself. The nurse emerged, smiling. "It's a boy. Both mother and baby are fine." Zara gasped, tears springing to her eyes. "My baby brother?" she asked, her voice trembling with joy. "Yes," the nurse laughed gently. "Your baby brother?" Inside, Amara lay exhausted, her face glowing with a quiet miracle. Kola stood beside her, unable to speak, tears sliding down his cheeks as the tiny, wriggling life was placed into her arms. "Hello, my son," Amara whispered, her voice breaking with wonder. Kola leaned down, touching the baby's tiny fingers. "You came at the right time," he murmured. Kola's mother stepped forward slowly when they invited her. She held the baby carefully, as if holding a fragile promise. Her eyes filled as she looked down at the child's peaceful face. "All my life, I thought strength was pride," she said quietly. "But love has humbled me. Love healed what pride almost destroyed." Zara climbed onto the bed, peeking at the baby with awe. "Welcome, baby brother," she said, smiling so wide it hurt. "I will protect you." The room filled with soft laughter and tears. The kind that carry relief, the kind that carry new beginnings. The villa was quiet in the soft glow of the evening, the lights reflecting gently off the polished floors and the garden beyond. Inside, the family gathered in the living room, a circle of warmth and fragile laughter. Kola sat with his arms around Amara, holding her hand as she cradled their newborn son. Zara perched beside them, her small hands resting lightly on her baby brother's blanket, eyes wide and shining with pride. Across from them, Kola's mother leaned back in her chair, her face softened by time and reflection, the harsh lines of judgment replaced with gratitude. Zara looked up at everyone, her voice soft but clear. "Do you remember the old woman on the road?" she asked, nodding toward Kola's mother. "We helped her, and look, she's grandma now." Kola smiled, his eyes glinting with something deeper than amusement. "That little act of kindness," he said, his voice gentle, on the side of the road, "changed everything. Not just her life, but ours too." Amara's eyes filled. "Sometimes," she said, brushing a loose strand of hair behind her ear, "we think the smallest people can't make a difference, but look at our daughter. She saved more than a life. She saved hearts. She reminded us all what matters." Zara beamed, hugging her baby brother. "Love can fix things," she whispered. "Even when adults forget how." Kola's mother cleared her throat softly, her eyes on Amara. "I was blinded by pride," she admitted. "I judged. I pushed away the people who deserved love. But seeing you, Amara, your courage, your strength, it opened my eyes. Love truly restores sight." Kola leaned back, looking at the family before him. "We are here because of kindness, because of love. Because of one small girl who believed her heart could do more than money or power ever could." Amara rested her head on his shoulder, glancing at Zara and their baby boy. "A child's heart," she said quietly, "can heal what adults often break." Zara nodded solemnly, squeezing her brother's tiny hand. "I just wanted to help," she said. "I didn't know it would make everyone happy." Kola laughed softly, a low, warm sound. "Sometimes the smallest acts carry the greatest power." "Never doubt that, Zara. Never doubt the heart of a child." The room fell into a peaceful silence, filled with the soft coos of the baby, the faint hum of the city outside, and the unspoken promise that this family, wounded, tested, yet stronger than ever, would face life together. Narrator, and so, the journey of one small act of kindness rippled outward, touching lives in ways no one could have imagined. Pride can blind us, fear can paralyze us, but love can heal even the deepest wounds. And sometimes the heart of a child is the bridge between broken worlds. The morning sun poured gently into the villa garden, painting golden streaks across the freshly trimmed grass. Zara stood by the gate, her small backpack snug on her shoulders, her red dress pressed neatly, her tiny shoes clicking softly on the polished tiles. Today was her first day of school, and though excitement buzzed in her chest, her heart felt heavier than she had imagined. Her grandmother appeared first, her eyes moist, her hands trembling as she adjusted Zara's hair. "Oh, my little Rose," she whispered, pulling Zara close. "I will miss you so much." Zara hugged her tightly. "Grandma, don't cry. I will be back soon." Kola crouched down beside her, brushing a stray curl from her face. "My brave girl," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "Remember, you are my little hero. Learn lots today, okay?" "I will," Daddy Val," Zara replied, her small hand gripping his. She felt the warmth of his palm one last time before letting go. Amara knelt, holding Zara's face between her hands. "Promise me you'll be careful," she said, tears slipping down her cheeks. "Promise me you'll come back smiling." Zara nodded, her own eyes glistening, but she forced a bright smile. "I will be back soon, Mommy," she said firmly, "and I will tell you all about my day." The old house felt impossibly large and empty as she walked toward the gate. Every step echoed with love and longing. Her grandmother dabbed at her eyes with a lace handkerchief. Cola's jaw was set, fighting back the tears he refused to let fall. Amara's shoulders shook as she waved. Even the staff and neighbors who had grown to love Zara gathered to watch her go. The little girl, their son and joy, was stepping into a new world. And though every adult's heart ached at the thought of her absence, Zara's smile was a promise, a tiny spark of hope that would carry them all through the day. As the car pulled away, Zara looked back one last time. She waved vigorously. "I'll be back soon," she called, her voice firm, brave, and full of love. And somewhere deep in the villa, 3 hearts, her mother's, her father's, and her grandmother's, breathed a mixture of sorrow and pride, knowing that little Zara was ready to face the world, carrying their love with her.